Tim Walz's record is a joke. He's been one of the most far-left radicals in the entire United States government at any level. But I think that what Tim Walz's selection says is that Kamala Harris has bent the knee to the far left of her party, which is what she always does. Kamala Harris listened to the Hamas wing of the party. Kamala Harris is running as a San Francisco liberal. She is governed as a San Francisco liberal, and she's chosen a running mate who will be a San Francisco-style liberal.
So there you have the Trump-Vance campaign. They had long been hoping to try to peg Kamala Harris as an ultra San Francisco liberal, and now they're trying to do that by reinforcing the image that somehow Tim Walz is one of these sort of lefties from San Francisco. We want to get into what Donald Trump is saying about all this in just a moment, but it's pretty ironic that J.D. Vance, of all people, is going with the San Francisco liberal line, because Vance spent 4 years living in San Francisco himself between 2013 and 2017 as a venture capitalist. Meanwhile, here is Walz's connection to San Francisco.
Last week was my first time in San Francisco and stayed down there. I was doing some meetings, woke up, did my 5-mile run through the Presidio to the Golden Gate, went back to my hotel, was downtown, and ended up leaving. And I'm like, that is the most beautiful city I've ever been in. It was exotic to me. I'd seen San Francisco on TV, hundreds of times and heard about it. And there I am driving around and I'm like a kid again. I'm like, America is so awesome.
So that was his first visit to San Francisco just the other week, but it hasn't stopped, of course, the Trump-Vance campaign from dubbing Tim Walz as a coastal liberal elite. Now, in an email to supporters just after Kamala Harris's announcement, Donald Trump wrote, Tim Walz would be the worst VP in history, even worse than dangerously liberal and crooked Kamala Harris. He's that bad. He'll unleash hell on earth and open our borders to the worst criminals imaginable. He'll rubber stamp Kamala's Green New scam and light trillions of dollars in fire, but the real killer, he's already pulled in millions in only cash to buy the White House. Here's what the Trump campaign press secretary Caroline Leavitt said today on Fox News. Watch.
With this decision, choosing Tim Walz, she has proven just how dangerously liberal she is. Tim Walz is one of the most far-left governors in America. Much like Kamala Harris, he supports wide-open borders. He supports sanctuary cities. In Minnesota, he signed a bill giving licenses to illegal immigrants. Tim Walz, like Kamala Harris, is soft on crime. If Americans want to know what a Harris-Walz America would look like, look at the streets of Minneapolis in the summer of 2020 when they were literally burned to the ground. Look at the streets of San Francisco. Their liberal utopia is every American's worst nightmare, and we'll spend the next 92 days ensuring every American knows how radical the Harris-Walz ticket is.
There does seem to be a cognitive dissonance, though, coming from the Trump Republican campaign today, because on the one hand, it sounds like the Trump campaign and J.D. Vance are worried. That's why they're being so aggressive in calling Walz a liberal. But on the other hand, there are several Republicans who are saying that they're thrilled that Kamala Harris picked J.D. Vance. Former Trump aide Kayleigh McEnany said she expected there to be a lot of cheering at Mar-a-Lago over Tim Walz's selection.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
Minnesota Republican strategist Kevin Poindexter said of Walz before the announcement, Tim Walz doesn't even register on the fearometer. Him joining the ticket as VP does not bring anything. Cenk, your thoughts?
Oh, I love how wrong they are. But they should please go 100 miles an hour right into that brick walls. Okay, I just came up with that mid-sentence. Anyways, so look, let me break it down for you guys. First of all, this is just a fun comment to begin with. That J.D. Vance video, even the hostages they recruited for that video didn't seem happy about it. Okay, now on to real things. I was on Piers Morgan this morning, and not that that's overly real, but I got to see what the conservative line of attack is. So Piers Morgan is an interesting cat, and he is not purely conservative. He's all over the board in different policy issues, but he loves Donald Trump, and he framed it as, they've lost the election. Tim Walz is crazy, right? And then every conservative that was on the panel, they're like, oh, this is great. He doesn't even hate trans people. We're gonna kill him. And then they started talking about the Algerian boxer for like 20 minutes, even though she's not trans, nor does she have XY chromosomes. It doesn't matter because they're obsessed and they're like, and there was tampons in the school, tampons, I tell you, right? And I'm like, guys, keep going. because this is not how you win an election. You win an election by talking to the average person, talking to them about how you're going to help them in their lives. Hey, I'm going to stop wars. Make sure your son doesn't go and die in Iran. That would be amazing. Unfortunately, neither party's there. But I'm going to get you higher wages. I'm going to get you better health care. I'm going to get you paid family leave. These affect my day-to-day life. And it's not just on democratic issues. Hey, how high is your mortgage because the interest rates are higher? How high are gas prices, milk prices? These are real issues, and you could have real conversations, but the Republicans are going to attack in all the wrong ways. And they're going to try to paint him as a radical left guy, but it's not gonna work. Number one, on a personal level, it's not gonna work. He was not only in the National Guard 24 years, he won the Nebraska Citizen Soldier Award 1 year. He has commendations from the Armed Forces. I lost track of how many, I think at least 3. He's a football coach, a teacher, etc. But most of all, guys, when he talks, he sounds like a normal person. He sounds like a human being and not a robotic politician. So when they're like, oh, wait till you get a load of Tim Walz. Exactly. And by the way, so far, he's got on TV in these last couple of weeks, and what's he done? He's absolutely mauled the Republicans. He's put them on the defensive every single time. He's the one that came up with the line of attack about, hey, don't attack him based on like the identity politics, basically, that both sides go at. He's just call them weird because they are. And he's totally right, and it worked great. It was great framing. So in terms of, is he a moderate or is he a radical left? No, guys. First of all, the political spectrum is shattered to begin with. It's not left, right these days nearly as much as it's establishment or populist. And he comes out on the populist end of things. So that winds up giving him a pretty bipartisan record when he was in Congress. When he was a member of the House, he was the 7th most bipartisan person in the House according to 2 different rankings, okay? And that he did that by getting a lot of Republicans to sign his bills, which is great. When they come to you, take yes for an answer. So as I told you a little bit earlier in the show, even though he was considered very moderate, and that's why Joe Manchin likes him, holy cow, how did he pull that off while passing the most progressive bills anybody's ever seen? Well, half the bills that he passed in Minnesota are bills Manchin personally killed at the national level. But still, he somehow got Manchin to like him. He got Nancy Pelosi to fight for a progressive. If that's not a magician, I don't know what is. But I looked at his voting record because I was like, yeah, but if this guy's gonna be a corporate tool, I don't care about any of that. But the things he fought for, anti-bank bailouts, wonderfully populist, higher minimum wage, economic populism, lower drug prices so that Medicare can negotiate drug prices on your behalf and lower them dramatically. And he was doing that over a decade ago, before it got popular, and even before, at the same time as Bernie, let's put it that way, before Bernie got huge. So this guy's been an economic populist all along, and he was a regular guy. He got into politics in his 40s. So they're gonna crash their ships on those rocks or those walls, if you will. Build those walls, build out walls. We'll come up with a good chant. And on police reform, they're like, oh yeah, he's soft that crime. Well, I looked into that as well. He did a police reform bill. You know, you've heard me say this because our position here at TYT is nuanced. And so, in fact, I did this rant, I don't know, maybe last week or the week before about what we asked for. We didn't ask to defund the police. We didn't ask to move felonies to misdemeanors. What we asked for is fix the police training. Now, you want to guess what Tim Walz did in Minnesota? He fixed the police training. He took away warrior training programs, taught de-escalation. That doesn't mean you don't do policing. It just means you don't have to kick everyone's ass for no reason at all and get into these things. And obviously, Chauvin and George Floyd happened in Minnesota, and they prosecuted Chauvin. Last thing, guys, it's the reason why people from different walks of life and different parts of the political spectrum like him is because at the same time, he also asked for adult prosecution of someone who had killed a person. Now, a lot of people on the left might not like that. And in fact, he had to overrule a local prosecutor to do that. But a lot of people in the community did like that, and it gained him a lot of bipartisan credentials. He also said that they should not prosecute a cop who shot a black citizen, not because the cop was white or the citizen was black, of course not. He's actually been great on all the, again, police issues, racial issues, etc. He did that because he thought it's not right. We don't have the right guy here. So look, that's a complicated case, and we'll talk about the details of that probably one day. But my point overall is he finds a way to get progressive policies passed while being very popular with all parts of the political spectrum. I just don't see how you could ask for any better.
Cenk, one thing that came up late this afternoon that I wanted to ask you about in terms of Republican attacks, and that there was a trending hashtag of stolen valor, and it sort of falls into two categories. First, there were some Republicans who were joking about, well, he really wasn't such a successful football coach because even though he took his high school team from 0-27 to the state championship within 3 years, it was Minnesota, it wasn't Ohio or Georgia or Florida where they have NFL prospects. But the more serious part of stolen valor is that there's some Republicans, Cenk, who are attacking him because he had the opportunity after 24 years of being in the Army Reserves to stay with his unit another 2 years and go to Iraq. And he chose not to stay with the unit and run for Congress. And there's some Republicans who say, oh, therefore, he doesn't deserve this military record that everybody's praising him for. What do you make of that?
That's what I make of it. You're telling me this brother was 27 years in the National Guard, but you thought he should have been 29 years. All right.
Yeah, that's the argument. Well, yeah. And that he should have gone to Iraq with his unit somehow.
Okay, so listen, have at it, Hoss, because that opens the door to all the Republicans who are chicken hawks, who never went to a goddamn place. They didn't spend 27 minutes in the military. And how about Donald Trump? Commander Bone Spurs is gonna make this argument. Oh, this brother was only in the National Guard for 27 years. He only has 3 medals. He only was a citizen soldier of Nebraska. You're gonna make that argument? Oh, please make that argument. And the thing is, Tim Walz is so good at framing and debates that he's gonna maul these guys with that stuff. I mean, because a normal Democrat, guys, this is another reason why I'm so excited today. A normal Democrat would have this incredible military record that he has, would go up against Commander Bone Spurs, who ran out from Vietnam, and wouldn't mention it. And I would tear out all my hair. Why don't you attack? It's right there, it's a layup, right? But Tim Walz attacks. He goes on the offense and he stays there. So, this is a great pick. The Republicans were like, oh, we're gonna get the paint of his radical left. Oh, they're gonna run right into that brick walls. I'm telling you, it's gonna be great to watch. And I'm gonna, right here on the Young Turks, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna show you that slow motion train wreck day after day after day. And finally, you mentioned something there that I forgot. This guy's record is so great, I keep forgetting parts of it. David, I forgot that he took an winless team and brought them to the state championship in 3 years. You know what that means? And I'm a sports fan. And I don't say this lightly, and I mean it with all my heart. That means the brother's a winner, okay? Because winning in football is not easy. It requires leadership and strategy. You're not gonna just, and by the way, also true of all the other sports. Great coaches are great managers. So the fact that he did that, oh my God. And look, our members are writing in, we haven't been this excited since 2015, 2016 Bernie Sanders. So I think the Republicans they better be careful what they wish for. Because if they wished for him, they got him, and I guarantee you they're gonna regret it. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.